But you know, you kind of got them on your side later on. But you know,
no, but that's what I loved about this guy. Like, no matter what it is he's doing, he's 110% all the way in. If he's gonna learn chess, yo, I've gotta learn to be the master. Yo, Renault, check out this chess move, yo. Or if he's getting into comedy, yo, I'm gonna study the best and be the best. Whatever it is, yo.
Studying it.
If he's gonna learn to do push-ups, he's gonna come back with like 30 different variations of push-ups.
I remember all that.
You know what I mean? Like, this is Stan. Like,
this guy, yo,
it
the
is.
truth.
He goes 150 million
Wow,
percent.
I forgot all about that.
Which means that it pays off. You know, like he puts that much effort in,
man,
and then you see the evolution. You're like, yo, he actually was
Stanley
serious
getting the
about
books,
this.
he's getting the videos, and like, yo, I'm gonna be better than you in this, man.
I'm gonna have the
even with the video games, yo,
on
that
the
dude,
planet. Everything he does.
Everything he does
is at a very high level.
Well,
competitive.
When he was pursuing Jennifer,
that too.
This was
you
hilarious.
remember that?
So he was like, I don't know what I don't know if you were like conscious of this, but you came back with all of these different things that deal with bad breath. You were like, yo, this lozenge or whatever, this does this. And you had mad, and then you said this pill, it actually goes inside your body and prevents. I said, yo, bro, what are you doing? You overdoing it. Like, you alright, your breath, you good, but you went so in. But that's how he was. He was going over
everything.
Man,
oh my goodness, you are breaking things
back.
back.
That dude had his bag ready before he went to when he was in group when he was gonna go hang out with Jennifer or whatever. He was ready, man. That dude was like, as soon as we were still finished, I'm going.
Yes, sir.
He's putting in his time, man.
One really quick thing. I don't even know if you noticed that. I noticed this that you did. We were sitting and we watched The Matrix. We did a double date. You, Jenny, me, and Angelica. Yes. I think you were sitting here. We were like this. My Angelica was over here. Jennifer was over here. So we were sitting together, but our girls were like on the side.
Bookends.
So, yo, you turned this way when Jennifer was looking. And you sprayed that pheromone stuff on me.
Oh, I remember you were talking about that. Yo.
I was like, bro, you really going that pheromones? Because you told us before that you had it. As soon as she heard it, you was like, and Angelica didn't notice. I noticed. I'm like, yo, what did you do?
Something needs to be clarified with that story. It was not for Jenny. I mean, when I bought it, it was. But when I sprayed it, it was for that dude that was next to him. He took his shoes off, and it was stink.
Oh, but I do remember that phase with the pheromones.
Yes,
I remember that
because you brought that up to me, and it made me look to buy one. I went crazy trying to get that chick. You guys bring back memories.
Yeah, that dude had.
Brian didn't know anything about that.
Had bags, ready to go hang out, to stay out. I'm telling you, man, Stanley was always ready, man. Yeah, I'm getting that chick, yo. I'm getting her.
Yeah,
I'm doing whatever it takes.
Operating at that high level.
Yep, he did whatever.
Competitive life now.
18 years now.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hey, before we go to, we're gonna go to Stanley, but right after this,
Brian,
we're gonna let Brian give a perspective from everybody. You know what I mean? Especially guys, Brian.
You know what I mean? Dude. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, so let's go to Stanley and what you feel about what your brother said about you? Man?
Oh my goodness, it's crazy that to see yourself in the eyes of other people, it just brings a different perspective. Like I always have a thought about who I am, but never really consider how others view you. And those that were close to you help you to see things about yourself, good and bad. But I enjoyed the good. That I was able to have an impact in their lives in some way, and how they received it, and how they use it to impact their own lives. They bring it into their own personal life, and to know that, wow, that's what I brought to the table. I didn't even know I brought that to the table. I guess in my mind, I was just enjoying being in their presence, enjoying having conversations and sharing my thoughts and ideas with them. And I was just expressing myself, not realizing that they were receiving it to that level. And so hearing that right now, just go, wow. I mean, it was going through everybody, so I know they're gonna say certain things, and that I expect, but the other things I didn't expect, that really caught me off guard, and I definitely appreciate everything that these brothers said. I love those brothers, man. I'll die for them. I will die for these guys. Yeah, for real. I see them as family.
That includes you too, Sal.
Dope.
That's the guy behind the camera right now. That's Sal.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Sal. That's a very important.
Yes. We can talk about
If it wasn't for Sal, we would not have Beyond Us.
We
but
won't even know
we'll
each
talk
other.
about that
We won't
later
even know each
We'll
other.
talk about that after. Yeah.
All right, so that pretty much, I have to say I appreciate these brothers. Yes, and I'm glad that I'm part of Beyond Us. This is a pleasure coming in, and I'm looking forward to many more years of these kinds of groups and meetings. I'm really down with that.
Beyond Us Day, Beyond Us Weekend. There we go,
Yes,
Beyond Us Weekend.
sure.
So now we gotta go to my brother, man. Matter of fact, can you like make room on the couch for the brother?
Let's make room.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You can sit over
Go
here.
ahead, brother Brian Foster.
Yeah, sit right there in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What a privilege.
Yeah, this our brother Brian over
Brother
here,
Brian
man.
in the house.
That's our brother Brian, man.
Foster.
Matter of fact, before I even go to you, Brian, I'm gonna go to my brothers. What you think about my brother Brian over here? You know what I'm saying? What you think about my brother Brian over here, man? Let's go
We're
to
not even
Jules.
worthy to be in his presence.
stop.
Man,
You say it's not even words,
You know what I mean?
Stop it.
This guy is so. I mean, he's been an inspiration to us, man. He's like the first brother I know that is just so positive, and always his words is so, it's so it's just so much life. It's such life. And I remember when I first met this brother, man, and he was so humble, and of course his singing, man, I was like, man, when I heard this brother, I was like, this dude should make it. Even if we don't make it, this guy should make it. He has everything that he needs, that we dream about. He has it. He can make it. And but I don't know why you didn't make it, Brian. But of course, the music world is different, and it's changed, and it's not the same. But man, you've been an inspiration to all of us. I thank you for that. I listen to you a lot, even on Facebook, man, because your words. It doesn't matter whether or not we're of different religion. And somebody is giving something that's going to benefit you and inspire you, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. And it's very helpful, and it's very spiritual, and I receive it. I receive it. Thank you for that.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, let's go to Renard, brother.
It's interesting, it's like when you read a book at one stage of your life, maybe 2-3 years later, you go back to that same book, like, yo, there's some stuff I didn't know this right now that I didn't know this before. And knowing this brother is kind of like that. There was a period where, like, when I looked at Brian, all I could see was like, yo, this guy is a beast. You hear those runs? You hear those note choices?
Yep.
Yeah, it's home. Yo, this guy is crazy, yo.
Yep.
I don't know why you're trying to sing with me, but yo, I'll take it. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll learn what I can.
Yep.
But then, as I've grown to know him and seen him just become more and more of what he is today, now when I look at him, I'm like, the word that stands out to me is character.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, this is a man of character. This is a man that I've seen go through different things in life and come out the other side stronger, wiser, having something to offer to everybody else. When Andrew talks about these things that he's posting up on Facebook, I also sit down, I'm like, that's so true. Go ahead, Brian, preach. Yo, that's touching me right now.
Yep.
Man, yeah, I could use that. I do need to make that change. You're right, Brian. I gotta do that. That's true.
Yes.
So there are all these different things that right now that you're doing that don't necessarily involve music or singing, but they're just as impactful, just as special. And when the twain shall meet, the singing, the vocal ability, and everything else that you've got to say, when all that comes together into a package, and it's just like hitting the right ears, I feel like, much like Moses, who was like about 80 years old when he's really starting into his ministry and doing the work of God. There is no limit
Come on.
There's no time limit as far as what God can and will do through you. So we may have our own plans. Like, I'm trying to make it by such and such time, such and such age, so I can have this house and I can have this and I can have this many Grammys.
Man.
But you know, you might be 60 years old and you become this thing that you never ever envisioned. And so that is something that I've watched when I've looked at you. I've just seen, again, your growth, development, and all these different nuggets, all these different perspectives and aspects of who you are as a person, just blossoming episodically, just in different eras, different periods of your life. And again, when all those things come together, when they converge,
Come on. You got Brian.
you know,
Wow.
No doubt, no
the
doubt.
impact is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Thank you for that, bro.
Hold on, let's go to Dez, brother.
Man.
Brother Dez.
Before I met Brian, I heard of Brian.
Because Stanley, you ready?
No, it wasn't even
Before
Stanley.
you
It
heard
was
Brian, you heard of
It was
Brian.
you, Andrew.
I heard of Brian. I was already like, hold on, there's this dude that's just killing it in Hunter College. Yo, you gotta meet this guy.
I was doing right.
And when you tell me something like that, for some reason I'm thinking it's gonna be a dude that he's singing and everything and got this ego because he's so good and all that stuff. It's just I think it sometimes comes with the territory. That is absolutely not the case with Brian.
Come on.
So he has all of these skills. He's forget. I don't even know how you come up with this stuff. You probably don't even know how you come up with this. It's coming from somewhere else.
Come on.
And
It's beyond us.
It's beyond
yeah,
us.
It's beyond him, right? So, but
man.
it comes, and it's he's humble.
Yes.
He has one of those voices and tones when he speaks, not just when he sings. When he speaks,
That's
and you
true.
stop and listen, because he just had the way you pronounce your words, the way how you kind of just articulate. It's like, wow, he's saying something profound. You always do that. So you're talking intentionally all the time. So when you did the thing on Facebook, that was a natural thing. I was like, wow, that's great. That's how you are. That's who you are. So I saw that vocally insane, vocally just great, and being able to freestyle. Freestyle songs. Like I remember one time was a recording was at it was at his church. I think it was. And it was like, listen to this. And I'm like, oh, these are not even songs. These were born in the moment. These songs were born in the moment. He's like, you did this song. I forgot exactly what it was. The preacher didn't want to let you leave. He's like,
Come on.
come back, come back.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'm happy to be here in this momentous occasion.
Yes.
Whatever you were
Yes.
saying. And then he was like, listen, I'm going to tell you, you guys are into that. I can appreciate it from afar. I can't even touch it.
Oh.
You guys doing your dissonance and I can't even, the jazz note. This dude got it down.
Wow.
Come on.
And Brian's just a great energy to be around, man.
Yes.
This is the type of person, non-judgmental, just gonna give you positive energy all the time, man. He's a great brother. I'm glad that you came. I'm glad you
I'm
came
glad.
to see us,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. You had the sniffles. You wasn't gonna show up, but yo,
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you came
Yeah.
by because you part of the story too. Because
Yes.
we remember you being there. We remember being inspired by you and your talent and your personality. So
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
you, man.
Bless you, man.
Yes.
We appreciate you, man.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, let's go to Brother Stan, man.
Oh,
What you
man,
feel?
I'm afraid to talk about this. Brother. Let me tell you something, man. What can I say? This, when you see Brian, you should see. I would just say the word that comes to my mind is gift. It's a gift. He is a gift from the Most High. The brother is extremely eloquent. This brother comes up with words that I have to look up while he's freestyling. Like, okay, what? This dude. Let me tell you how great this dude is when it comes to his freestyling abilities. He knows the right syllables to use that'll fit the rhythm on beat. Why did you choose that word right there, and it landed right at the syllable spot on beat, and it rhymed with the last verse? These are things that are just freaky and scary with this dude. You know God is in this dude's life. You know it. So, because God, there's no way that a normal person can do stuff like that. You see, when Nicodemus had told Jesus in John 3 that we know that you are a teacher of God because nobody can do the things that you do unless God was with them. That's what I say about this dude. When this dude grabs that mic and he goes up, and sometimes he be shy on the stage. He's shy as heck. But even in his shyness, he is still destroying it.
He's beating on the devil.
He ain't gonna be dancing. He ain't gonna dance for you. He ain't gonna move and bounce, but he'll tap his leg. But I'll tell you what, he will kill it vocally. He will give you vocal skills even in his fear, in his shyness. God is still using that instrument. And this dude he still got it. He's still singing, he still got it. And this dude could afford to he could afford to mess up. Because even his mess ups would sound good. It's like, it's a little crack. But let's hear what he's gonna do next. If I crack, it's like, oh my goodness, all right, Stanley needs to work on that. If this dude crack, it's Brian. He could afford to crack. Because Brian everything else is gonna be like superb.
And you heard the way he cracked too?
Yeah, I think he cracked on beat, you know? But outside of his musical abilities, he is a friend. He's a friend. Yeah. And he also adds a spiritual element to our lives. Have you ever heard that dude pray? When this dude pray, it's over. You know God has entered in that room. The dude can preach, he can pray, he can speak, he can sing, and he's a friend. With all that greatness this dude have, like Brother Renal said, what is he doing around me? So that is a humbling experience for me to be around greatness like that. And I've always appreciated it from the first time I heard him, first. Renal played him for me, and when is that big tape recorder he had? And he played it, and I was like, this dude can sing. You know, and then I met him. When I met him, I played him as soon as I walked in, Renal said, this is my friend that can sing. He's like, hey! And he was like, he just started singing immediately. And then when I got on the piano and I played, he plays better than me. He plays better than me. This dude is just that humble. I only know how to play one song. But this dude automatically said, he plays better than me. Oh, I'm sorry, he plays. You know, and then he started freestyling to it. This, I don't know if you guys notice, he freestyles. It could be the same chord. The same chord changes. I could play the same chord changes 100 times, and he'll have 100 different songs. Like, is there anything else you can come up with, like, with those chords? Like, this dude can, I'm surprised Renal don't use them more. This dude can give you tons of songs. You don't even have to, you can keep the same chord progressions. He'll give you 100 ways of using those chord progressions. This dude is, that's why I call him the gift. He is the gift from the Most High God. Brian Foster. Without him, man, his impact with Beyond Us would be different. You would see a difference. If Brian Foster was not around, our sound would be different. I believe it.
I second what. You're supposed to go on, shoot.
No, everybody want to get that.
I second what Stanley said, because in those what we call it Tuesday ministries.
Yes.
You
That was Jenny.
She coined that phrase.
Yeah, Jenny, Tuesday ministries.
Yeah. So we would all be together and just bouncing stuff off of each other. And so again, even if a person is not in the group, because we also learned so much from him musically, those things would show up in our songs. Just the effect that he has. And I remember one time I was in the piano room, and a bunch of y'all had left, and then Sal sat there, and I just played a few chords, and Sal did this little riff. I was like, "Sal, what you doing? That sounded kind of dope, bro." He's like, "Yeah, yo, I was sitting with Brian, and Brian told me, like, try this real quick." So by the time I got back, Sal came up with this whole new riff. I'm like, "Yeah, that sounded tight, Sal." What? He's like, yeah. Brian was like, I was like, oh, cool. So yeah. So Brian had a way of affecting change and like having his fingerprint on the things that will be produced by other people. And so that happened within this group as well. You know what I'm saying? So there are certain things that he also noticed about the makeup of the group. It's like, yo, no, I think I see you doing this. And much like Stanley drew certain things out of each individual member, you know, you had Brian also like pinpointing certain things, and it's like, yeah, you might want to play to those strengths. Like, yo, you know, he spoke highly of Desmond's tone. He's like, yo, you might want to utilize more of the stuff that Desmond does. I'm like, yeah, you're right, it's true. And Stanley does what he does, and this and that and that, and Brian and Andrew and you and now you do this. And so it made me think, okay, well, yeah, you know what? Let's try to lean more heavily on those specific things that are our strengths, so that way we can actually be more impactful. So again, all these conversations, all the freestyle sessions, the ministries, all these different things, they've birthed so many different parts of what Beyond Us has to offer.
So I wanted to add as well that as Ronald was speaking, this came to my mind, and I have to throw this in the recording. I was a huge fan of Brian. A huge fan of his. I mean, like really big. To such a point where when I had a tape recorder, it was to get Brian. I mean, I don't mind us all singing. I didn't want to hear myself, but I wanted to hear Brian, and like, let's get Brian in there.
You sounded like him at one point.
It was a guy when I was trying to get my energy to sound like this.
And I was like, yo, hold on, who was that? Was that Brian or I can't tell.
I knew when I used to be a security guard in Rockefeller Center, when there were moments, I played that all day. I played his songs all day. And to hear when we have a new song, it was like another song to me that I have to learn. Because I'm like, if I sing more like him, I think my skills will get better. You know, and I'm always trying to draw from that. Like, so, like every moment I had like this, yo, let me record this dude. Because he always had something different to bring. It never, I mean, you can have, like I said, it's always a new song. And I'm like, how do you do that? I wish I could sing like that. And I used to listen to him all the time. And they asked me, who's the best singer in gospel? Brian Foster. Brian Foster. Yeah. I just feel like, you know, I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, Good Will Hunting?
Yes.
You seen Good Will Hunting?
I barely remember it though.
Yes.
Matt Damon.
He's the janitor?
Matt Damon and Robin Williams, right?
Yep.
Matt Damon was this genius that just happened to just be hanging around his friends, but this dude is a winning lottery ticket, and he was talking to his friend Ben Affleck that was playing his friend Matt Damon, and he said he was having small talk while they were working in construction, and he said, maybe we're gonna go old together. Your kids will play with my kids, and Ben Affleck looked at him and said, when I get old, if you're still doing this, I'm gonna kill you. He said, what do you mean? Like, why? I mean, what's wrong? He said, let me tell you something. You got something that none of us here have. But I don't know what you're still doing here. Maybe one day, hopefully, I come look and pick you up and you just won't be here one day. And I understand it because you're not like us. And we all know it. We're just waiting for the day for you to notice it. That's how great he was. That's what I see in Brian. He's just that at that level. If a person, when they hear Brian, I know people like the J. Mosses of the world, the Clark sisters, the Kim Burrells, all the major singers, they would see him at a completely different level as opposed to when they see me. With me, they'll see a student. With him, they'll see that let's talk music. He can come to the conversation. He can bring that to the table and it'll fit. I am just in the presence. It's almost like hanging around a person like Darryl Walls that never made it. And he just hung out with us. Right. And didn't make the group. Or Michael Jackson that just happened to be working in Staples. But he's hanging out. He's your friend. But like that, if you only knew who you were, I see that in him. This dude should have albums already cut, and I probably would have never. I should have probably never met him. And if I've met him, it was like I known this dude. This dude used to. I used to always think that one day I'll be speaking this way about this dude right here. This dude is a superstar, hanging out with us. He's just never got known to the world.
Yeah.
But this is like
I totally agree.
Earl Manigault. Remember Earl Manigault? He was classified as the best basketball player ever lived. But he's just died in Harlem. Never made it to the top. But all the professionals knew him. Lou Alcindor, all of them, they all knew of Earl Manigault. They called him the GOAT. Even Michael Jordan said, this dude would have kicked my butt if he made the NBA. That's this dude right here. I call him the GOAT.
I totally agree.
I'm being real. I'm being real.
No, I'm being real because I don't know.
I'm being real.
I mean, I've
Wow.
side note. I mean.